Hello and welcome to the in-new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment today, we are going to discuss about expressways in India. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2 and 3. Let's begin with the different topics that we are going to discuss over here step by step. These are the various topics that we are going to look at. Let's start with the news. Now, as according to this articles, it has stated that different expressways in India have to go through different political regimes to see the light of the day. And here I am referring to the Purvanchal Expressway and many other different expressways which are actually going through various regimes, seeing various policies, and those policies helping to build expressways in India. Now, let's start with some facts about the Purvanchal Expressway. Purvanchal Expressway runs from Lucknow to Ghazipur. It's a 341-kilometer stretch of expressway. It was conceived in the year 2016 and inaugurated on 16th November 2021, and that too by the Prime Minister of India. So, it saw the regime of Akhilesh Yadav, the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, then in 2017, the BJP, and then it was finally inaugurated. So, as you can see, the idea conceived and the foundation stone laid was by the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh in December 2016. Back then, 90% of the entire land was yet to be acquired. So, it was a hastened process because in 2017, the elections of Uttar Pradesh were pending. Then, after the Yogi Adityanath-led government, the current Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, it came into power in the year 2017. And whatever the earlier tenders were given to different companies to develop the expressway, Purvanchal Expressway, it was cancelled out and new bids were given, new tenders were allotted. Okay, moving on, the Samajwadi Purvanchal Expressway, it was earlier known as. After that, its name was changed to Purvanchal Expressway, and a stretch of it has been developed for landing of fighter planes as well, to increase the defense capabilities of India and also to develop industrial hubs. So, different industrial hubs will be developed alongside this region in order to encourage investment and develop the entire region. So, skilled, unskilled employment will be there with the help of this expressway and many other expressways. Also, investment from private entities will be encouraged. Now, if we talk about different expressways, these are some of the expressways of the UP that we are going to cover, and other expressways, important expressways of India. So, in UP, we have 28% of the contribution when we talk about the entire expressway network in India. But before we begin about this, what is an expressway? An expressway is basically a highway, but it is access controlled. It has designated checkpoints on entry and exit. And its main aim is to have a more integrated approach towards the ease of transportation. With expressways, we also have certain other amenities along the sides of the expressway. Industrial hubs could be a part of it, under bridges could be a part of it, in order to provide hassle-free movement, which is efficient and speedy in nature. It is basically a 4-lane, 6-lane or 8-lane. As the Purvanchal Expressway is 6-laned expressway, it can be expanded to 8 lanes. So, that is the idea of expressway. Sadly, India has the lowest density of expressway in the entire world. And if we talk about UP, important expressways here, and first we will start with Yamuna Expressway. Yamuna Expressway, or erstwhile Taj Expressway, it was conceived in the year 2001 when Rajnath Singh led the government in UP. After that, it was conceived in 2001. After that, it was planned and executed in the year 2007 to 2012, and the inauguration was done only after the next government of Samajwadi Party came into being. Back then, there was a lot of clash with respect to the farmers of Gautam Buddha Nagar and the private company JP Infratech. So, it was said by the farmers in unison that the compensation that they got for their land acquisition by the private company, it was not fair and just. And the profit of the JP Infratech was much higher than what they were compensated upon. So, it gave an evolution to the policy when the government came directly in contact with the farmers and compensated them so that no united protest can happen. First policy was that. So, Yamuna Expressway, it runs from Noida to Etawah, right? And this expressway saw the changing of 3 regimes. It took a lot of time because first Bhatta Parsoli agitation was there with respect to the farmers of Gautam Buddha Nagar and JP Infratech. The evolution of policy came into being that the government is going to talk directly to the farmers and acquire the land, and proper rehabilitation of the farmers should also be there. Okay, so Yamuna Expressway has this history. Then after the inauguration of Yamuna Expressway, Agra-Lucknow Expressway also was rushed at, and that was done as according to claim by the SP government, the Sapa government, that it was done in a record period of 22 months. Now, there were, if we talk about who took them, the private players that were into the picture, there were no takers for Agra-Lucknow Expressway. Why? Because this area, it had no proper land parcels that were profitable enough. I as a private company did not see any land parcel which was giving me profit, in the sense that the construction of the highway was a lot, but the profit was less. So what did the government do? Second evolution of policy comes into being here. The government divides it into packages and starts building it with its own fund. After it divides them into packages of 60 kilometers, it starts to provide those different packages to different private players. Can quality be assured? This is a critique. Quality can't be assured. If uniformity in quality is not there, a company X is providing a proper amount of quality to the 60-kilometer stretch of land. Similar can be talked about for company Y or company W. This is a critique. So this was the second evolution. Okay. And after that only, the Purvanchal Expressway stone was laid. The foundation stone was laid by the SP government. Okay. And we have discussed about the Purvanchal Expressway itself. So as you can see, we have discussed about Agra-Lucknow Expressway, then Yamuna Expressway. And here is also Ganga Expressway. Now Ganga Expressway is still in the making. This will go into 3 different phases. Phase 1 will include the development from Meerut to Prayagraj. Okay. So here is Prayagraj and here is Meerut. From here to here, Prayagraj. This is the phase 1 of Ganga Expressway. Second is from Tigri to Uttarakhand border. This is the second phase of Ganga Expressway. Then comes from Prayagraj to Balia. And this is the phase 3 of Ganga Expressway. Once Ganga Expressway gets developed, it will be the longest expressway in India. So this is still in the making. Quite a lot of funding has been done for this. Land acquisition has also begun. Another very important expressway is the Bundelkhand Expressway. Okay. This expressway will connect the less developed Bundelkhand area to Delhi NCR. This is a 4-lane expressway. Okay. And the deadline for this is before the next election, that is March 2022. So let's see what happens with respect to Bundelkhand Expressway. Basically, the importance of expressway is such that it has a lot of benefits when we talk about air pollution, when we talk about hassle-free movement, but it also has a lot of cost with respect to rehabilitation process and environmental cause. Let's move forward and talk about the other major expressways in India. Yamuna Expressway, we have discussed. We have discussed Agra-Lucknow Expressway. Now let's talk about Outer Ring Road of Hyderabad. As you can see, this is the Outer Ring Road of Hyderabad. It consists of many industrial hubs and it surrounds the Telangana region. And it is a very important expressway. Important expressway in the sense that it has a lot of development around it. Okay, then comes, it also supplements many important national highways. Can you name a few national highways for me? Okay, now let's move on to Mumbai-Pune Expressway. Mumbai-Pune Expressway, in order to provide speedy transition from Mumbai, the financial capital of India, to Pune. This was also known as Yashwantrao Chavan Expressway. Okay, so remember this. Importance, of course, very hassle-free and also reduced pollution because there were instances of jams occurring. If it was not there, then jams would have increased and this would have given rise to greenhouse gas emission and carbon footprints. Okay. Also, one more important expressway is there, Eastern Peripheral Expressway. Now, if we talk about Eastern Peripheral Expressway, it goes from Kundli. Kundli is actually the node of Western Peripheral Expressway, moves along many important regions. Then, as you can see, Gautam Buddha Nagar, Munna, and ends in Palawal. So, it is also known as Kundli, Ghaziabad and Palwal Expressway. Remember this. And it, along with the Western Peripheral Expressway, is declared as National Expressway number 2 in the year 2006. Okay, National Expressway in the year 2006. So it connects many regions, many important regions. Okay, let's move forward and talk about the challenges with respect to developing expressway. First, environmental challenges. Many trees have to be felled. Many regions which are rich in biodiversity have to pay the price for developing expressway because land has to be acquired, concretization has to be done, and the natural ecosystem of the places actually having a lot of problems. Soil gets loosed. When it gets loosed, then there is no water conservation. Heat island effect can also take place. As we talk about too much concretization, it will give rise to heat radiation occurring at one place only while the other of the surrounding regions are cooled down. So this is first environmental issue. Second is land acquisition. How is land acquired? And compensation is done. Yes, we have a policy right now, but is this policy actually on the ground or not? What about small and marginal farmers who do not get the benefit, the actual amount of benefit, who are actually kept in the dark when we talk about the correct policies? They do not know the correct policies. And where will they acquire land after they even get the amount from the government? Rehabilitation process, if somebody lives at that area, we cannot compensate that person, give them 50 lakh rupees and tell them to go and live somewhere else. They can't live with this 50 lakh rupees without any home. So how the rehabilitation process takes place? What other costs? Apart from the cost of the land, there are other important costs which a person has to pay. That is the social cost of it, the social fabric that the person was enmeshed in before he was rehabilitated. He used to live in a close-knit community, but now where would he or she live? That's the rehabilitation process. Another thing, are they rehabilitated properly or not? What if they are again asked to move away from that place? So many things are there. Political bottlenecks, as I told you, as Purvanchal Expressway, many other tenders had to be cancelled. Many other tenders had to be cancelled with respect to Purvanchal Expressway bidders. So that caused a delay. Another one was when I talked about the Ganga Expressway, there was a lot of issue with respect to environmental clearance only. Environmental clearances were not given as the Ganga Expressway was very close to the Ganges, and because of that the environmental impact assessment did not give it a clearance. Recently it has got a clearance. Recently only state level Environment Impact Authority has given it a clearance, and that is why we could move forward with it. So a lot of political bottlenecks also occur. Okay, now let's move forward and talk about the benefits of it. Skilled as well as unskilled employment. Laborers who are a part of the workforce, they get the employment benefits. Industrial hubs are also being created in the near region. Investment is also being created from the private players. So these are the benefits of expressway. As there is no hassle, different lanes are there, we can choose a lane according to our own speed limit. So it will also be access controlled. So many unnecessary, unwarranted passengers, pedestrians, they have to keep off that area. Cycles, bullock carts, these all have to keep out of that area. So hassle-free transport also occurs, gives rise to efficient trade and commerce. Time is less, consumed time will be less, no more traffic jams will be there if it is controlled properly. Also, because of that, pollution levels will go down. Pollution levels have gone down in many regions, especially in Delhi also. When Eastern Peripheral Expressway was created, pollution came down by 27% because it gets diverted and balanced development happens. That means if some places are designated for expressways, some other places will be developed environmentally and other infrastructural needs will be also kept in mind. Now let's move forward and talk about the conclusion. First, we need a consistency in policy. A proper policy making should be done in order for the standardization of the entire procedure, not only for the expressways in one state but also other states. And transparent bidding should be done in order to break the capitalist and the politician nexus, so that continuation in the policy can occur. Not that one regime changes, the other regime comes, previous tenders and previous bidders have to pay the price of it. Better balance in environment and economy. The hubs, industrial hubs, should be compensated by industrial and environmental hubs. So if any region will have industrial hubs, it should also have a region which is full of trees so that it can sequester carbon dioxide. Also, better rehabilitation process for those who have lost their lands. Proper policy should be made and checks and balances should be there. A third party check and balance should be there if they have actually got rehabilitated, if they have actually got the compensated amount of price or not. And the quality of life should be assured for those who have been rehabilitated. So a third party intervention can be done. Okay. Now let's move on to our means based question. Okay. What is an expressway? Discuss the challenges and the benefits related to expressways in India. You can write it in 250 words. Okay. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.